Hi, Amanda Marcum here with the Marcum Sold team at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Foster Realtors, with another awesome episode of the Marcum Sold show and a part of our fall series of how and where to give back in Madison County. Today, we're with Brenna Wallhausser at Hospice Care Plus in Richmond. Very special place. My grandmother was involved when she was the mayor of getting this place up and running and built and started and everything. So it's been very special to come back, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what you all exactly do here every day.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Well, first of all, I do want to say that we have 4 programs at Hospice Care Plus, and the Compassionate Care Center is one of them.
Okay.
And that's our inpatient hospice care program. For hospice patients we may be caring for at home, but who need inpatient care to manage an acute symptom that we couldn't manage at home.
Okay.
The other way it's utilized, which I think is wonderful, is for respite care. So sometimes primary caregivers in the home, and I can speak from personal experience and say with my family, that's usually an elderly person who's trying to give care at home to someone. It's very physically demanding,
Yes.
It's cognitively demanding, and so the center helps give respite to that caregiver and that patient. So in my situation, my loved one stayed 2 different times here for 5 days just so that my family member could recharge her batteries and be able to continue what she was doing.
Yeah.
So our primary program, of course, is home hospice care in 6 counties. But
out of here, you service 6 counties.
Well, our main central office is in Berea.
Oh, okay.
We tried to free the Compassionate Care Center up. All of its space is patient care space.
Okay.
So our central office with our more administrative offices is in Berea.
Okay.
But out of that office, we have a home hospice program, a home palliative care program, which is also for people with serious illness, and then, of course, our bereavement care program to offer grief and loss support.
Okay, wonderful. So that's, it sounds like you all are so busy and have so much going on. How can we help?
That's a great question.
We can be like Emma.
Emma is one of our helpers. Emma is one of
Yes.
our volunteers. This is our 40th anniversary year.
Oh my gosh, wow.
40 years ago, we were started by people in the community. It was an all-volunteer organization for several years.
That's amazing.
And at every point in our history since then, we've almost always had more volunteers than we have paid staff. This last 18 months has been the one exception. The pandemic has caused, and I've talked to hospices around the country about this, about a 30% decline in the number of volunteers. So we don't need them any less, but there are fewer of them. So I'm so grateful to people like Emma who are still engaged, still involved. And as far as I'm concerned right now, they are healthcare heroes like any other healthcare professional.
Yeah.
Emma can talk about what she does, but she's a pandemic screener. She screens visitors to the center.
Okay, wonderful. Tell us like a little bit about how does this fuel you, like warm your heart? Tell us a little about your experience.
Yeah, so I joined as a pandemic screening volunteer after the pandemic started. So I joined the beginning of this year of 2021. And I just wanted something to do with my time every week where I could make a difference. And I was introduced to Hospice Care Plus volunteering by one of the other volunteers, a friend of mine back at EKU. And I really like it here because it's very rewarding, but it's not something that requires a lot of skill. Anyone can do it.
Okay.
They teach you how to do it, and it's just small tasks that sort of free up time and help the nurses take better care of the patients.
Oh wow. Okay, that's awesome. That's amazing. So you want to go into the medical field, so this is also helping with that journey and figure out what part of the medical field probably you want to work in.
Yeah, and hospice is a very unique healthcare setting, so it's cool that I also get to see and experience a setting that a lot of students who want to go into the healthcare field don't know a lot about and aren't exposed to a lot.
Absolutely. I could totally see that. So what, besides volunteers, how else can people get involved and help?
Volunteering is one way. Donations are another. We are a nonprofit hospice organization, and donations help us do so many things that really enhance our care and make our care better. We have an important event coming up in December. That's our next big event, and actually most people, I think, in Madison County are somewhat familiar with it. It's called the Remembrance Tree Ceremony, and really it gives people a chance to remember loved ones who are no longer with us. During the holidays when we feel their absence the most, there's that chair at the table that's empty, or that person that the holidays were centered around who's not with us anymore. And sometimes it's just a challenge, to go along with the merry and bright part of the season when you are holding that onto that feeling. And so it really just kind of gives space, to remember those folks and honor them. This year, like last year, we're going to do it virtually because traditionally we have 300 and 400 people come to this, and that's definitely too large crowd right now. So we're doing it on Facebook Live. It worked really well last year.
Good.
If you want to sign up to request a memorial ornament and participate in the Remembrance Tree ceremony, go to Facebook and look for Hospice Care Plus, because on our Facebook page you'll see that event. It's already up. It's there. You can click through and request your ornament.
Yeah.
And learn more about how to participate that day.
And then you'll watch it. We can watch it live.
You watch it live
Sunday the 5th.
Sunday, December 5th at 2 p.m.
Okay.
People participate in new and interesting ways. It's just different, but it's still about remembering people. So they'll type comments, maybe share a favorite memory when that name is read. Or
cool.
This year we're actually incorporating a brand new thing we've never done, which is a memorial slideshow. So people are invited to submit a photograph of that loved one or loved ones. We have people who request 12 and 13 and 14 ornaments. It's become a real tradition for people. So, they'll send 14 pictures, and we'll include those in the slideshow.
I had kind of forgotten about it last year, but the year before, I remember I had done it because I had a friend that was here who was younger, and so I don't know why I forgot about it last year. I guess because the pandemic. I forgot about all 2020.
Well, or maybe you
really.
didn't need it last year, which is
True.
okay too.
Yeah, true.
But I will say this:
Yeah.
it's so important to know that although we host this event, and we certainly invite family members whose loved ones were cared for by us, it's open to anyone in the community who's had a loss. And I think that's really important to point out this year, because during the pandemic, especially early on, we've learned a lot about pandemic grief as a hospice organization. And there's so many people who in those first 8 to 10 months had losses and they couldn't go to funerals, or there weren't funerals. There are a lot of people out there who didn't get to go through those normal grieving rituals, and that's expected to cause some challenges for people. So
I would imagine.
I think if you had a loss and you just didn't feel like you got to grieve it appropriately, and you're still feeling it and you're dreading the holidays, consider this, because this ceremony seems to be very meaningful and really help people work through those grief feelings during holidays.
Yeah, that's great advice. I will definitely partake this year and donate and do a couple ornaments.
Right, and
people.
I will say that although I'm glad you mentioned donating, we do ask for a donation of any size when you request an ornament, but it's so important to let people know that don't let that prevent you. Times are hard for a lot of people right now.
Even if it's $5.
Even if it's $5. And if you absolutely can't, because the pandemic has been a challenge for people, please call us. We have instructions on that event page that says if you can't, please give us a call. We'll make sure we'll work with you. We're not going to let anybody miss out on it because they can't afford to donate something. But all proceeds from the event do go to support our palliative care, hospice care, bereavement care, and the Compassionate Care Center program.
Awesome. Wonderful. That's great. Well, that's the kind of the moral of everything I've been doing is all local, where we can donate and it all stays here and local.
Great.
And that's wonderful. So thank you so much. Is there anything else we need to know about that you can think of?
Just that we appreciate how the communities come together to support us, people like Emma, to volunteer, to help, and we've seen that across all kinds of organizations, and it's wonderful.
Good. Yes, I think it's a wonderful community also, so hopefully we're helping more people get involved with this education of all of our amazing local charities. Thank you so much. We'll see you all next time.